a little lesson on drawing mandalas. So today I'm using a clipboard with a piece of paper attached. You can use a notebook. You can purchase a square art journal or anything that you can find. Piece of paper is all you need. So I'll teach you how to draw a template and then how to build on that. So really just giving you the tools on where to start and how to build on your mandala to make a beautiful piece of art. So if you're using your mandala drawing as a tool for mindfulness, so a way to sort of relax or have a creative outlet and almost like a meditation practice really while drawing them, it's an incredible tool to use for that. So although I'm here to guide you, because it is such a beautiful mindfulness tool, I don't want you to overthink it too much, and I'd like you to use it as a way to facilitate that relaxation or that mindfulness, and really just draw it any way you choose. But just so you've got a bit of a head start and a kickstart on where to begin, we'll run through how I draw a template. So when I've got a rectangle piece of paper, I like to square off that paper, but it's not necessary. It's just something that I like to do. So to square off, I would measure the bottom edge and then rule a line across the top here to square it off. So in this instance, I had already found where it needs to be. So I've just ruled a line in grey lead across the top. So I now have a square template. And then from one corner, I need a bigger ruler, from one corner of that square to the other corner of that square, ruling a line. Where's my big ruler? We might just have to make do. And then ruling from the other corner to the opposite corner, preferably with a bigger ruler. So that once you have that, you have a dot in the middle of your cross. So cross and a cross, and there's a dot in the middle. That becomes your point to place your compass. So popping a pencil in, tightening up your compass, so that your pencil won't fall out. Whoop. Why is this not working? A little bit more. Now I can use my compass to create circles. So popping the sharp bit on the compass onto the center point of your cross, press in a little so you create just a little bit of an indent. It's just easier then to find it for the next circle. And mastering the compass is the hardest part of a mandala. So circle around, create your circle, and then widen the compass a little further, create another circle, widen it again, create another circle, and create them all different widths. So I like some of my circles super close together, and I like some of them wider apart. Again, no right or wrong. It's just how I like to prepare my first template. I add on to this constantly while I'm drawing a mandala, but I always feel like having that sort of preset template to begin makes it a little bit easier. And I try to keep the pencil lines really light. And the reason I do that is that it's just easier to erase later once I've done my fine liner. So here, excuse my cross, it's a little bit skew-if, but you'll see I've got several circles in various widths for my template. Now that I've got that, I take my trusty protractor and I create a few more angles by placing my protractor along one of the lines of my cross and then finding 45 degrees. 45 to make a little mark, and then on this side 10, 20, 30, 45, make a little mark. Flip the protractor to the other side, line it up with center, and then find 45 degrees, and the other side 10, 20, 30, 45 degrees. Once you've found that, rule from one side to the other a line, and from one side to the other a line. My lines are very wiggly, they're not supposed to be. So you'll see here I've created, we already had these diagonal lines, and all I've done is find 45 degrees and created a line and another line. And now with this template I can begin, and you'll see right at the center I have my first circle, and as all my lines intersect in center, it's like I've created little pieces of pie, like we've chopped up a pizza or a pie. And those little pieces, we are going to insert a pattern that repeats itself. So draw something in that little piece of pie, and then draw the exact same thing in the next piece of pie, and the next piece of pie, and the next piece of pie, and so on and so on. I'm going to do a really, really simple pattern just so I can do it quickly and it's easier for you to see. But I'm just going to draw a petal of a flower in each piece of pie. So there's 8 pieces of pie. We want them to have the same pattern. And I'm doing this quite quickly, so it's not very neat. But you can see here 8 pieces of pie, and they've all got the same little petal leaf in it. So then I go to the outer edge of that circle and choose my next pattern. And each piece of pie will have the next pattern. So what can I do? For instance, I might do 4 circles in each pie. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so on. We're halfway there, bear with me. Very messy, but you get the picture. So I drew 4 circles in each piece of pie. And then we have another piece of pie. Now at this point, if you go, oh, that's a big gap, I don't want the circle to be that big, easy. Pick up the compass and put another reference circle in. So in this next little piece of section to pie, I'm going to draw a big circle, medium circle, little circle along the lines. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Big circle, little, or medium circle, little circle. Big, medium, little, big, medium, little, big, medium, little, big, medium, little. It's just repeating pattern. So big, medium, little, or thereabouts. And then in here, I might choose to add something else like a triangle. So we use the reference points of our lines and our predetermined circles to try and keep it nice and even and a repeated pattern. Again, I would usually use a ruler and be much more precise, but for the purpose of this, it gives you an idea of I've then created a triangle in those using the reference point of where that circle met and that line intersected it. So then it becomes, once we're using rulers and we're a bit more precise, it becomes this beautiful geometric pattern that is even on each side. So with that, you then continue to build and build and build until you end up with a full design. Once you've got that full design, I would suggest coming back then to center and becoming more detailed. So from here, once I had a bit more of a design in place, very, very messy, sorry. I would then come back to center and become way more detailed. So I might add in some extra loops and then color one in. Some extra loops and color one in, and so on and so on. And then I might add in some extra detail here. And so on and so on. One mandala, a proper detailed fine liner mandala, can take me anywhere from 10 hours to 100 hours. So I do become extremely detailed. I use every moment in my drawing of a mandala with a fine liner as a striving for perfection. Now, perfection is impossible. You cannot get perfection. But me striving to make it perfect and to make each line purposeful allows me to really be present in what I'm doing. And that's the tool of mindfulness. That's where you're able to really be present in what you're doing and be in the moment. Knowing that you can't be perfect is also something that is a worthy tool that you eventually are able to learn how, when you do make a mistake, how to then incorporate that somehow into your design so that it becomes even and balanced and centered. And I guess that's a valuable tool to have in life as well, to learn how, when we make mistakes, to somehow incorporate them into our life. So something I would suggest too, some people really like drawing mandalas with a pencil because it gives room for error. You can then erase and repeat. I don't usually use a pencil. I draw my template in a pencil and then I draw my mandala directly with a fine liner because I can't rub it out. So it makes me much more conscious of what I'm doing, of every stroke that I make, of trying to find precision and taking it slow. And all those things are the things that help me facilitate that mindfulness, and it really becomes a tool for relaxation. So also know that you can add squares. You don't have to just be circular all the time. So if you'd like to add a square, you can use your ruler and from the center point, measure up one of the lines, make a little mark, measure the same amount on the opposite side and the opposite side and the opposite side, and then grab your ruler and square it off. Squares can be really lovely in a mandala design. I've used them quite a few times. Just gives a different point of interest. And with any of the lines that I make that are part of the template, definitely in pencil so they can be erased when your fine liner design is complete. So that's the square added in. So then I can use that square. So I've got my little beautiful little lotusy petal things going on here. I can then use that square and add some design to that. I can add in a little triangle. I can add in some swirls. I can do all sorts of things with a square. I also like colouring in some areas to really make the design pop. So as I did with the petal here, I coloured in that middle one. I didn't complete it around all of them, but you get the gist. I would then go back and even start colouring in some of the negative space. And it really, really makes the mandala come alive and give it, you know, more dimension. So yeah, so starting from the center, I never, ever, ever have a predetermined idea of what my mandala is going to look like. So even then when I started, I didn't know that's what was going to happen and unfold. All I did was start with a dot. Once I had my dot, I thought about what might look nice in that first piece of pie. And then I repeated that around all of those pieces of pie. Move on to the next, repeat, and the next, repeat, and the next, repeat. And all of a sudden, I have this piece of art that has unfolded without any predetermined idea. And there's something really magical about that, that you look back on what you made and you're like, wow, where did that come from? So I invite you to have a little play, start with your template, add to it as you need or would like. And if you're not sure where to start with a dot. Use reference points for ideas and inspiration. Grab those mandala coloring books that you can get. Research the internet. If you get to a spot, say I'm here and I have no idea what to do next and I'm drawing a bit of a creative blank, use your phone and grab it out, search mandalas, see something that you might like. Never, ever, ever encourage copying people's work. It is totally okay to draw inspiration from it. So if you see a mandala that has something that you really like, it's okay to use that. And that will then inspire you to do something else and to come on to the next and to find a design for the next bit. So I'd love, love, love to see what unfolds on your piece of paper, and enjoy the process. The process is what I enjoy the most. The art at the end is just a bonus.